and the Ashanti Regional Director of the National Service Scheme is alleged to have disrespected a nurse on duty at the Manhyia Hospital for correcting his daughter's wrongful medical prescription. Alex Opoku Mensah is reported to have barged into the surgical ward of the hospital where his daughter is currently serving as a house officer to verbally abuse and threaten the nurse. According to eyewitnesses, the medical officer prescribed the wrong dosage for a 2-year-old child with convulsion. The nurse, upon noticing the medical blunder, called on the young doctor to rectify the wrongful medication. However, they say the house officer took offense and reported the issue to her father, who later visited the facility to angrily insult the nurse who questioned his daughter's prescription. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association have since issued a communique calling for the immediate sack of the Ashanti Regional Boss of the NSS for his indecorous behavior. We'll be speaking to the NSS Association soon, but first, joining us live is my colleague Erastus Asari Donko with more. Erastus, do we know what really happened aside what the eyewitnesses have been telling us? All right, so Erastus will be joining us later, but let's speak to the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association, and Perpetual Fogi Ampofo is the president of the association. She joins us live with more. Now, thank you for your time. Have you reached out to Mr. Mensah for his side of the story?
Not at all. He's not a personality of interest to us at this time. But let me first say good morning to all your listeners, and thank you so much for having me on this issue.
Well, if you say he's not a person of interest, then I guess probably you have details of what really happened. What do you know?
Well, our Ashanti Regional branch out to the headquarters to give us this report after we had actually seen this audio flying on social media with a voice, a male voice, vehemently insulting a nurse and using all sorts of words and throwing his weight about. From what we learned from the report we got from our Ashanti Regional Chairman, this is a man who is the Regional Director for the National Service Scheme in the Ashanti region. And his daughter, a house officer, had an issue with a nurse. And I must emphasize that these are issues that do happen within the course of our work. As a team working for the interests of our patients and clients, these things do happen, but we have a way of sorting out these issues. And when it's beyond us as professionals, it's escalated to the management of the hospital. So it was very, very surprising that we will have a father intrude into a health facility and verbally assault a nurse and threaten her. So all that we are calling for is his removal. He has to be relieved of duty as a director. He's not fit to serve the public in his capacity as a regional director in the Ashanti region. Public service is not meant to intimidate, it's not function of people or undermine the responsibility of the role individual workers play within the society or within our communities, or in our case, within the hospital. He had absolutely no right to enter the facility and do what he did. And he is not fit to be a director in the Ashanti region. He should be removed immediately. And as an association, having deliberated on this issue extensively, we have also given timelines. And we have said within 72 hours, we expect the Public Services Commission and government, for that matter, to be removed. And without which we are going to direct Manhyia District Hospital, where our nurses and midwives are working, to lay down their tools. If we still do not get a response, the whole Ashanti region is going to lay down their tools. And if we don't hear anything, we are going to take it up nationally, the whole nation, because this is an insult to us as nurses and midwives. Look, we are breaking our backs, working in very difficult situations, and we don't need this. We don't need this. The regional director of the National Service Scheme in the person of Mr. Opoku Mensah, should have known better. As a director, he should have known that for a facility such as this hospital, there is definitely a leader in place, and that is the medical soup. There's also a nurse manager in place. He should have known where to direct his concerns or his complaints, and had no right to press in that way that he did.
All right, kindly hold the line for me. Let me take you to Kumasi because our colleague Erastus Azaridonko is joining us on phone with details of what we have gathered on this particular story. Erastus, what do we know so far? Erastus, if you can hear me, okay. Erastus, if you can hear me, I'm asking of what we have gathered on this story from the ground.
Well, so what we do know for now is that the doctor in question is a senior house officer, started his house job on the 1st of November, almost 1 month with the Manhyia hospital as we speak. This issue we are talking about happened on Sunday. You know, he was starting his night cover with the hospital, which ends at 8 a.m. And had informed the ward in charge that because he had wanted to attend to some church activity, he wanted to do the ward rounds early so he can go to church. So it was a church that she kept receiving persistent calls from the nurse in question. And when she responded to the call, the issue was that she had prescribed some IV fluid and paracetamol, which was not available on the night shift. And so per the system that they were running at the Manhyia Government Hospital, it wasn't possible for any other doctor to change the medication. She had to assist them change the medication. And that is why the nurse was calling her to come over to the hospital to make that change. But then she had reported the matter. She said she was not happy with the way the nurse spoke to her on phone, so reported the matter to the father, who stormed the hospital to, I don't know, try to put the nurse in her right position. And so what you hear in the audio there is the father who had stormed the ward and was trying to put her in her right place, according to what happened. Now, what we are learning now is that management has met both parties, both individually and then collectively. They have listened to them both. The doctor in question has apologized to the nurse for her father's behavior. And the management has decided that the nurses are saying they are not happy with her and they cannot work with her. It looks like tensions are high. And so they've asked her to at least stay home in the interim for tempers to die down before she can come back. When they have already spoken with the nurse and tempers have gotten down, she can resume her duties. Okay. So that is where we are at the moment.
So let's get this clear. Was it an issue of a wrongful prescription or a prescription that probably didn't have the medication that they didn't have, so they had to change it?
No, it has nothing to do with wrongful prescription. In fact, the prescription that the doctor gave was an IV fluid and paracetamol. Now, they do not have that on the night shift. And so they had to wait till morning for the doctor to change to another form that they have, perhaps diclofenac or any other painkiller. So it's not an issue of wrongful prescription as people are bandying around, but it was an IV fluid and paracetamol that they did not have on the night shift. And so they wanted her to come, change it to what they have, because the nurses cannot on their own initiate that or change what the doctor had prescribed. They needed the doctor to change that in the system so that they can administer something else aside the IV paracetamol that she has prescribed.
Okay. Have we heard from the father since the issue broke?
We've been trying to link up with the father. His line is off, and so we have not been able to speak to the father as we speak.
Okay, but can we say the hospital, everything at the hospital is calm now?
Oh, for now, things are calm. It's just the nurses who are saying that they cannot work with the doctor, but then management is trying very hard to speak with them and to let Tempest calm down. And so they've asked the doctor to, in the interim, stay at home for some time for Tempest to calm down before she can resume her duty.
Grateful, Erastus. So that's my colleague, Erastus Asari. Don't go there. Now, Erastus mentioned the audio. Let's take a listen to the alleged voice of Opoku Mensah.
You learn to respect your mother. I respect what is all words about you on there? I'm saying that when I...
For what reason? She's a doctor, me too, I'm a nurse.
So...
Daddy, please, I beg you.
Oh, yes, are you an equal part? What kind of behavior is that? That's why I asked you, what course did you do in secondary school?
I did science.
Frustrated, very frustrated. I could have brought my daughter from November results to you. What kind of behavior is that? Manhyia, who brought up? It will get be patient for. For get be patient for. Has she run away from the patient? Has she run away from the patient? Has she run away from the patient?
In what reason?
What kind of behavior is that? I don't know what you're doing about this. No, is she accountable to you? Is she accountable to you? And you talk to them so brutally on phone. What kind of behavior is that?
You said what she told you.
And you have exhibited your behavior.
You told me I envy her.
Yes.
For what reason?
Because you are envy her.
For what reason? I envy her for what reason? Am I not a man?
Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you're a doctor.
Why a doctor?
Are you a doctor?
I didn't say I didn't say
Is she accountable to you? Is she accountable to you? Learn to be remorseful. Learn to be remorseful. Oh, yeah, who are you? Who come and teach him here?
I have every right to question her. What's every right to question her?
Accountable to you.
What did I do wrong? Hey, don't ask me.
Don't use your left on her.
Exactly.
Don't use your left on her. Foolish girl. That's why I told her you envy her. What do you left there? The dog. What bottom man? Why should you be doing that? Huh? Manhyia, sit down.
I want to sit down. I want to listen to you.
I don't know, yes, sir.
People speaking to people with blessed.
I mean, who want your color, sir? Stupid idiot. Kevin. I'm very happy you are here. Who want here? Someone next is phone up or down. Up down. You general answer. Oh, yes, science. Oh, yeah, disappointed next. Up down. Must see a move for about phone.
Zainab, what reason? Me mama and papa. Zainab. Zainab, tu take you.
So that's an excerpt of the very altercation that happened between the man and the nurse. Quite an unfortunate incident, but yes, that is a part of the voice that we had to play to you. Now, we still have on the line Perpetual Ofori Ampofu, who is the president of the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association. So, Perpetual, you heard our reporter there, the fact that the hospital has now spoken to the parties involved. The young doctor has been asked to stay aside for some time. How does that change your stance as an association? Perpetual, if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so All right, thank you very much. In response to that, I would like to say that it doesn't change our stance in any way. Okay. For security reasons, I want to believe the house officer has been asked to stay away from the facility for a while. In our case, with the nurse, she's currently also with the Ashanti regional executives. Because we are trying to even get her a psychologist to talk to her, to counsel her, because it's been very traumatizing. And we are working on her in that regard. And what we have issued in the statement is what we are standing by. We believe strongly that this man, Mr. Opoku Mensah, is not fit to hold any public office.
Okay.
And therefore, he must be relieved of his duties. We have also called on our Ashanti Regional Branch to report the matter to the police. He had absolutely no right to do what he did, and the police should be informed. We have also asked that the management of the hospital also take steps to actually train the professionals working at the facility about teamwork and team building. It is very, very, very crucial. Everybody in the medical team is important, and there's need for us to respect one another. And we understand, as a human institution, we can find ourselves stepping on somebody's toe at one point or the other. But it will be very important that we have internal systems to resolve, and every worker must know about these systems. And there's no need for anybody to bring in family relations, whether father, mother, brother, sister, whatever it is, to come and behave the way Mr. Opoku Mensah behaved at the facility on Sunday. It was very, very uncalled for, and he needs to be sacked immediately.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Perpetual, for joining us. She is president of the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association. Now, we tried to speak to Mr. Opoku Mensah to get his side of the story, but we couldn't get through to him. When we do, we'll bring that in our subsequent bulletins. But